Good afternoon, Yellow Army, and welcome to the latest interview with official TUFC TV. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by under-18s manager Chris Todd. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Dom. Not too bad.
Well, it's great to see you again. Now, obviously, there's little introduction needed to the Yellow Army for you, Chris, as you served the place so well as a player. What was it like returning to play more in your new role?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, like, it's hard to put words on it really because it's a club, as everyone knows, that's really close to my heart, and obviously the area that I've been working in for quite a number of years. And then to get the opportunity to join forces with Torquay again was special for so many reasons, really.
And of course, you've been on your travels. You were with Eastleigh and Gloucester as manager, and obviously came back to play more a couple of times. And you've always had a nice reaction from the Yellow Army, haven't you?
Yeah, no, it has been times where, as you said, I come back as a manager assistant at obviously Torquay, and I was always welcomed with open arms. You know, I think we have a special bond, myself and the fans, just because of the stuff that happened in my time at the club playing, and then obviously through the time of when I got ill and sort of recovered. So we have a underlying relationship, I suppose, that we know we have feelings for each other, and it's a special one, really. So coming back was so nice, and being able to put on the Torquay gear again and having that connection and hopefully helping to get the club, you know, where it wants to be, is back in the Football League.
And all of this for a former Exeter City player.
Yeah, no, of course, you know, I mean, the Exeter fans will probably hate me saying it, but I think they realise now that, you know, Exeter still has a place in my heart because I was the captain of the football club, and I had some good times there. Circumstances of leaving were hard for fans to believe at the time from Exeter, but there was lots of circumstances that they would never understand behind the scenes that I decided to do that. And you know, it become my new home, and I think because of the situation then, with everything that happened, getting promotion, everything that goes along with it, it just become that sort of home, really, I suppose. And you know, they're both two amazing clubs, and I can say that without the rivalry, because you know they do mean lots to me, both of them. So it's good to have that. I've become a Devon faithful, I suppose, with with the two clubs.
You even got the accent there for a minute.
I know. I get lots of stick from my family members back home and my friends. You know, when the old Devon accent comes out a little bit, because I've lived here so long now. So it is like it's my home. You know.
And, you know, we touched upon the rivalry and that, but I think actually during moments like this, you realise how special football is, and you know, it can be tribal sometimes when you've got those local rivalries. It's at times like that where you actually miss these things.
Yeah, of course. You know, rivalry, and you know, for me personally, it's a little bit pantomime-ish, if I'm being honest, because it keeps the fans energized, and there's that sort of, you know, it's not bad feeling, because it's kind of, you just want to be better than your opposite team, you know, that live very close to you. So, but for me, it's a little bit different. You know, I think if ever Exeter play Torquay, and I'm in the Torquay ranks, I'm going to support Torquay, you know. But I still look at Exeter's results and I see how they're doing, and I, you know, obviously see they're doing well, and I enjoy that because it's a part of me, you know.
So tell us about your role as under-18s manager. How have you enjoyed that the past year, or nearly it's been a year that you've been back at playing more? How have you found the role?
Yeah, I've loved it. It was something that come about because obviously I'm working at the college, in South Devon College, and there was a connection between the two clubs, where the you know, Torquay used our facility. I left the pro game with Eastleigh as a manager. Then I went into Truro and done some assistant managing there. and then went to Gloucester as the manager of the football club. And things didn't work out. Bad decisions on my behalf at times, but also bad sort of choices as well within what I put myself into. And I think I can look back at that and learn quite a lot from that time, because it happened so quick. I was in a job for, I think it was 12 weeks, which is madness, you know. And when I originally went for that job, it was about a 2-year plan, working with the club, trying to get it back at Gloucester and everything like that. But that never materialised. It never really worked out for both parties. And I found myself back at the college doing what I did anyway, day in, day out with that. And just being around the scene with the Torquay sort of training and seeing Gary, seeing and Downsy on a daily basis, and just having quick conversations with them, and just, you know, sort of nattering football really, and just got a little bond with them both, you know, because they know what I'd been, you know, through with the football and what I've done, and we just had something in common, so we just kept talking, and that's how it all materialised really, and then sort of things went from there.
It very much seemed like the perfect match, you coming back to play more in that capacity, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, because as I said, I was in the pro game, and then obviously doing men's football. But I have a passion for young players, you know, trying to nurture them and make them better. And obviously doing that at Pro Direct Football Club was something. I say football club, it's the college, you know, but I always call it Pro Direct because it is like a football club. And doing that on a daily basis, I found myself really enjoying that side of it. And then when that opportunity come up to work for Torquay United with the youth, it kind of just ticked all the boxes, and it was something that I just couldn't wait to get started at, really.
And just for anyone that isn't aware of how things went last season, can you just give us a brief overview of how last season went for the under-18s? Because following a difficult start prior to your arrival, things began to pick up, and the results were beginning to show that towards the just before the curtailment of the campaign.
Yeah, no, in the start, it took time to sort of just get my feet under the table and work out what was going on and how things were being run, and obviously from taking over from Sean. So it took a little bit of time to manipulate all everything I wanted in place and what I wanted to start doing. And it went quite well from the start, actually. We won lots of games, and luckily I had the contact with the college, so I was able to get players in who I knew were playing for the college and knew what they were capable of, so that they could then come into the Torquay under-18s and hopefully make them better. So that kind of happened, and we started winning games of football, and we sort of got up the table and started, you know, again winning runs together. So it went quite well considering, and obviously just the downside, obviously, towards the end of it, we couldn't finish off the season, where we were looking to sort of finish, I would have thought, in the top three. Probably, I would have thought we would end up in second, would have been my opinion, but there was an outside chance we still could have mathematically won the league. So it went well. It went well, and there was lots of things that I changed a little bit within it. You know, Sean done a great job and left for his own circumstances, and I kind of took over, and now I'm trying to move it forward really as the future goes.
And one of the other things you also started to bring through is actually a number of players from the under-16s have started making their debuts for their under-18s as well, which is pleasing to see. Yeah,
no, the 16s are very strong, and it's a group of players that, you know, that done very, very well, and it was nice to actually embed them into the 18s. And I think one game I had 7 playing or 6 playing, and that's only beds well for the future of the football club, that we have these young lads in the local area coming through, and they've done really, really well. They stepped up to the plate. So I'm excited about the new season coming, because I know these boys are going to step up, and they're going to be involved with the other lads that are staying as under-18s, so the first years from last year. So that becomes then a good nucleus of a good mix that I can really work with, and just see what we might get out from them. You know, I think it is about their development, and it is about day in, day out, trying to see how they develop and how they change. And we definitely saw that with a lot of players from last season.
Now, of course, the big news coming out over the last couple of weeks has been that two of those players, JJ Evans and Owen Price, are to be offered pro deals with the club, which is obviously fantastic news, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it brings a massive smile to my face, you know. Working at a Pro Direct academy at South Devon College, and then seeing those boys come through that to then be given pro contracts at Torquay United is it's just amazing. You know, it's credit to obviously Gary and Downsy for giving them the opportunity, trusting them, because, you know, it is trust. You have to trust these young boys that are coming through to go into training and not disrupt things, because you know, if they're not up to the speed, or, you know, there might be times that they bring this training session down. So you have to make sure that they're ready for that. And these two young boys are, you know, they're very talented individuals who, you know, they've progressed massively from the start of the season. Where at times I think, you know, they started to lose belief with football, because they both got released from another professional outfit. And so they found themselves at Pro Direct looking for another chance, basically. And they got that by performing with the 18s, performing in pre-season with the first team. And they've just developed. But one thing for me, and this is something that I'm really, really big on, it is the attitude and the desire of the two kids, because it takes a lot to become a professional footballer. It doesn't just take talent, because it doesn't really work. That doesn't. You need talent, you need the effort, you need the desire, you need the work rate. And these boys have that in abundance, and they used to come to me all the time, and they message me, and they want to learn, you know. And I think any young player in the local area can take a lot from these two lads who have really taken things on board, and they've actually been like two little sponges. If I've told them something, they've listened. They might not always think it's right, but what they've done is they've always listened, and I think they've done that wherever they've gone, whether that's with the first team, with Downsy and Gary. They've always wanted to learn more and get better, and that's where they are now. And they've got themselves a massive opportunity, and hopefully they can really thrive with that.
Are you able to tell us a little bit about both players, about their positions, what they're like as players, about JJ and Owen?
Yeah, no, JJ is he's a talent that you don't really find a lot of, if that makes sense. And what I'll explain with that is, he can see things that other people can, and that is a special talent. Like, he'll find a pass that no one else would have seen. So that's where he is. He's very creative. He's very attacking minded. He has a really, really delicate delivery. He's sixpence sort of thing. You know, he's very, very clever player. With growth, with training with the first team, I really believe that he could hit the ground running and do really, really well. It's just, obviously, that takes time, and which is the gaffer is giving him the opportunity. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops and how that becomes, you know, where it goes, you know, with it really. And then obviously you got, yeah, you're going to say Pricey. So Pricey, he's actually a first year. So what he's achieved is quite incredible, really, because, you know, he's a younger one. So he would go into a second year next year, where JJ's a second year now. But he would be a third year, JJ, next year. So Pricey would be a second year. So he's only 17, a young 17. He is what you would classify as, in my opinion, an old school fullback. So very, very clever in his decision making. I would say an old head on young shoulders is probably the best way to explain it. So nothing phases him. Very dedicated. Great left foot. Can defend one-on-ones pretty well. Obviously, they're all learning and they can get a lot better at what they're doing. But there's something there in the two of them, the gaffer has seen and Downsy's seen, and obviously myself, that we believe there could be two talented footballers to come to the football club.
And am I right in saying that Owen actually played and scored against you for Buckland Athletic last pre-season?
I think he did, actually. Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, I was on the pitch when I. so yeah, I was probably chasing them. I think I remember it's quite funny actually, because that friendly was a great friendly. It was really nip and tuck, wasn't it? And it was quite early on, and it was an amazing game for Buckland at the time. And it's funny because a lot of the youngsters played. So I obviously had connections with the likes of the Pricey and obviously JJ and Louis Slough. And then obviously Olaf was up top against me. So it was, yeah. And then a couple of months later, I'm actually in charge of these lads, or, on a full-time basis with the Torquay and Pro Direct. And it was quite strange actually. But yeah, I think he did score. He did really, really well, both of them, to be fair, on that day.
Now, you've mentioned a couple of the others there. So joining JJ and Owen in the pro squad is going to be like Louis Slough and Olaf Drizella. This really does bode well for the future of Torquay United, doesn't it?
It's amazing. And I think that's, as I said to you earlier, it's credit to the gaffer for giving them opportunities. I think over the years, we've missed out on bringing young local lads through in Torquay United. I was trying to work out the other day, and I think I had a conversation with you through text, that how many players have been coming through over the years. And even from my time, the last time I remember players coming through was probably Matt Hockley, is it? Maybe? I can't remember many more after that. But, you might tell me different. But to get those players coming onto the field of play in a professional game is incredible. I think last year Olaf did that on a couple of occasions. Louis Slough did it in pre-season. That for the fans is special. I did it for my local club, Swansea City. I got to go on the pitch, and you always have that bond with the fans because you're a local boy, and you do wear that badge on your heart, because it is your team. So for these lads to get the opportunity to be able to come onto the pitch and work with the first team and just have an opportunity is special. And hopefully we can now start moving things forward. And with this cycle that's happening, we're talking 3 new pros in the last 2 seasons. With Louis, obviously, we still forgetting about the opportunities that Josh Baxter had. He was a pro, young pro last year. And obviously you got Olaf. So there's a number of players now the gaffer is bringing them through, and just seeing which ones come to the helm, really, I suppose, because if you don't take the chance, you'll never know. Exeter City are very good at that. They put youth players into professional contracts first years. They try to develop them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of a risk you take, really. But if there's a talent in there, and you can get that out of them, then it can be worth money to the club, which is something that I don't think we've done for a long time, to sell a player to another club and make some money on, this is obviously looking forward to the future, really, hopefully.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about this unique partnership that we have with South Devon College, this unique pathway that is bearing all this fruit at the moment.
Yeah, it's as I said to you earlier, it started off as we were obviously using or letting them use the facility. So Torquay United were able to use our new 3G amazing facility, which they were doing on a regular basis. And then because obviously the connection there, Gary had come to me and say, can I borrow a couple of players because we want to do a bit of shape work today? And then I did embed a few of the better lads, get opportunities to go and train and kind of be extra bodies for that formation work, really. And that's how it all started. And then there were conversations between the club and the college about getting a partnership so that we could do this on a regular basis, and that we could sort of flourish it. And that's how it all developed. And then obviously I got involved with the youth team system. And then involved with the first team, and then it's kind of just flourished that way really, and it's just become better and better, and we've managed to get 3 lads from Pro Direct into the pro game, which is incredible really.
It's a partnership that's certainly benefiting Torquay United, but it benefits all parties, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We are very thankful to have Torquay with us. I think it's a partnership, as you said, that is really very solid now, and you can see a pathway there. It's great for the college lads who are, there's a lot of them that are just fans who love seeing Torquay United players come to the college and use our facilities. But it's a really community feel, I think that is really key, that we've got that partnership now where it's Torquay United, but it's South Devon College, and it's the local feel factor. And I think that's really special, to have that.
Chris, it's been an absolute delight talking to you again. I'm really, really interested to see how things are moving forward and all of that. Thank you for joining us again. The message is, of course, the same from both myself and from Chris. Take care, keep safe, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.